Welcome to a two-part video about Sony's craziest portable CD player, the only one ever to feature a slide-in mechanism, the Sony D-EJ01. We'll first look at the context, brand and evolution of Sony's portable CD players, and in part 2 we'll do a deep dive into the details of this very unique device. When the Sony D-EJ01 was released in July of 1999, the writing for physical digital media was already on the wall, albeit in invisible ink. CD sales were still on an uptrend, only to peak next year in 2000, just shy of 1 billion discs shipped in the United States alone. The music industry didn't know it at the time. It would all be downhill from there. In 1999, just at the apex of the compact disc, riding the waveform of their success, Sony introduced a truly unique Anniversary Edition ultra-compact compact disc player, the only one ever to feature a slide-in mechanism. Why? Because Sony could afford to just show off. And show off they did, with a series of industry firsts. There's this unique slide-in mechanism, an industry-first magnesium die-cast body, an uber-cool remote controller with CD text, up to 62 hours of playback time, an optical output, and a 1-bit DAC. In 1999, those lucky enough to download fancy new and obviously legal MP3 files would still often burn them to a CD and take on the road. And frankly, nobody could imagine what Apple would do to the whole industry in just 2 years when Steve Jobs would introduce the iPod. It is obvious that the D-EJ01 is special, a special edition that is. Now, there's a bit of a confusion as to what anniversary is supposed to mark. You see, 1999 was both a Walkman and a CD anniversary. Sony actually mentioned this in their press release, although only the 20th Walkman anniversary graphic is featured on the box. That refers to the launch of the TPS L2 portable cassette player, the first one to be called a Walkman. You might know it as the Guardians of Galaxy Walkman. The 15-year CD anniversary refers to the 1984 introduction of the D50, Sony's first CD compact player. Being in such a celebratory mood, Sony decided to solve once and for all some nagging issues with their audio products. First, they got rid of those annoying tangling wires and released a wireless cassette Walkman. Then, they fixed CD playback while jogging for a full day on one set of internal gumstick batteries with this beauty, and finally introduced a set of high-end wired earbuds because I guess people just love the entanglement after all. Back in 1984, Sony's first compact disc player, the D50, was not even called a Discman. It was referred to as a CD compact player because, well, obviously it was just a small CD player. The Discman brand would be introduced later to piggyback on the popularity of the Walkman, as would over time many other Sony products, such as the Bookman, the Watchman, the Data Discman, the Scoopman, and who knows how many other men. However, portable CD players couldn't be called Walkman yet, as walking with these devices was not a thing because, skipping. That changed, however, with the D-EJ01. Having developed electronic shock protection and making CD players usable while walking, Sony decided to bring their portable CD players into the Walkman fold, introducing the CD Walkman, initially for their Japanese lineup, launched between October 1997 and March 1998. The Walkman brand has since obviously been plastered all over Sony's walkable media devices, from phones to the digital audio players of today, capitalizing on what was one of the world's most recognizable and loved brands. Remember the Walkman phone? Guess it was better than the phone, man. Whatever. Electronic shock protection had already been featured on Discman branded devices. However, the new CD Walkman would feature G protection. Unlike ESP, which is just a memory buffer, G protection uses a series of techniques to minimize skipping. There seems to be some confusion as to whether any type of memory buffer is present, and while some users and magazines assume there is, as far as official references are concerned, I couldn't find any mention of it. This pamphlet seems to offer the best explanation I could find. G-Protection was designed with jogging or walking in mind. After all, these portable CD players were called CD Walkman. To cope with shaking and vibration, a new mechanism was developed with 3 key features: a quick focus laser, fine pickup alignment, and high-speed data reading. Together, these can correct errors in 1/3 of a second, about the duration of one step while jogging. I can only speculate that the high-speed data reading does some buffering, but it's likely a linear 16-bit uncompressed memory buffer with a capacity of 3 seconds. Because of this, sound quality is never impaired, and there is no option to disable G-Protection. In practice, it can actually withstand 3 seconds of sustained shakiness, and as Popular Science notes, G-Protection was not entirely foolproof, but it does a pretty good job. The magazine offers a somewhat accurate description of the technology. Walking an entire afternoon with a D-EJ01, I got maybe one instance of skipping. A scratched CD will cause more skipping than the shaking. Later G-Protection implementations would offer more memory and potentially compress the audio, resulting in lower quality. Those models usually offer an option to disable the function. Popular Science lists a launch price of $350, around $610 in 2023. Hey, look at the iMac on the same page. The D-EJ01 looks modern and contemporary, even today, fitting nicely next to the latest iPhone or MacBook industrial designs. It's featured on Sony's online design gallery amongst their most iconic pieces. The design, materials, finish are all what we would consider high-end today, with innovations such as the die-cast magnesium body giving it a unique feel. It's a beauty to look at and a joy to hold, a bit slippery though. While not the thinnest ever portable CD player, at 19.5mm it's about as thick as 2 regular CD cases. The slide-in mechanism does take up quite a bit of space inside, thus top-opening designs can be made thinner, as is the case of the D-EJ2000 released in 2002. The D-EJ01's circular shape is a nod to the format itself, the unit being just about the size of the discs it's playing. Magnesium feels luxurious to touch, having the warmth and softness of plastic with an anodized aluminum feel. It does feel thin but solid and precious, while weighing 220 grams or 7.8 ounces without batteries, of which it takes 2 on the inside. Playback time can be increased up to 62 hours by using the supplied external battery case. It's one of the rare cases where even the battery case feels substantial. The most distinctive design feature aside from the sliding mechanism is this small window, which lets you peek at the CD. The case feels rigid and reassuring when inserting a disc. It really doesn't feel like trying to squeeze a slice of cheese into a sandwich. How does all this work? Well, the D-EJ01 features a slide-in mechanism, not a slot-loading one. There's no motor pulling the disc in. It's all done by you, pushing the disc in. We definitely want to have a closer look at what that looks like and how it all works and explore this unique CD player, and that's exactly what we're going to do in part 2. This video was supposed to be a quick look at a very interesting device. Well, obviously it turned out to be quite the trip. While Technostalgism started out on Instagram as an opportunity to display glorious devices of past days in a modern, contemporary context, creating these videos is a completely different experience and takes a lot of resources, time for research, shooting, animation, editing, the lot. Your support would help create more videos more often, with benefits such as exclusive posts, videos, Q&A, and many other perks, and of course credits in future videos. Check out the links in the video description below for details. If you enjoyed sliding along the tracks or just skipping about and would like to see future content along these lines, consider liking, subscribing and hitting that bell icon. These are really helpful free ways of supporting the channel. Thanks for tagging along this trip down nostalgia lane. And now, back to the real world.